Hey, good to see you again. We are now getting closer to nailing your strategy. Good job. Now, when conducting this type of analysis, it may become a bit overwhelming when we write down all the things that we could do to achieve our mission and vision, and in which order. There may be too much in there to make sense of it. If this is the case, it may be helpful to do a little exercise of priority mapping called the Eisenhower Decision Matrix. This is a very simple and productive way to graphically see what are the most important and urgent aspects of our strategy. The matrix is created by two axes. On the horizontal axis, we have the level of urgency, from non-urgent to urgent. On the vertical axis, we have the level of importance, from non-important to important. The Eisenhower matrix contains 4 quadrants, which are therefore labeled important and urgent, important and non-urgent, non-important and non-urgent, and non-important and urgent. Now, place all the items you identified in your goal-setting exercise in the relevant quadrant. Okay, which items do you think you should prioritize? That's right, those in the urgent and important. They are the ones that will make or break your plan. What about the others? Well, it's easy. The non-urgent and non-important we discard unless we have unlimited time and resources, which is rarely the case. The important and non-urgent items, we have to set a time frame to get them done, as at some point they will probably move to the urgent and important quadrant. For the non-important and urgent, you have to use discretion. But if they are not important, they probably have to be put in a drawer somewhere until we have more time to deal with them. So now that we have our priorities in place, another useful exercise to complement the Eisenhower Decision Matrix is what's known as a SWOT analysis. SWOT analyses have been used in businesses and the military since the 1960s. In a nutshell, the process revolves around the evaluation of internal and external factors which impact favorably or unfavorably on our chances of realizing the vision and mission. Obviously, in business and the military, and in professional sport, SWOT analyses are conducted in the context of extreme competition, whether that's winning a war, making more money than the company next door, or winning the Champions League. In the context of children and youth sport, our guess is that SWOT analysis will be more focused on understanding how we are going to realize our vision, which may or may not include any competition against any other clubs. I guess that what we're trying to say is that in children's sport, the focus should be on what we need to do to give the kids the best possible experience. Anyway, we think the SWOT analysis will still be useful. Internal factors include strengths, the S, and weaknesses, the W, whereas external ones include opportunities, the O, and threats, the T. Let's look at these in a bit more detail. Strengths are all those areas where we are already doing quite well, and that are important for the final outcome of achieving the vision. Weaknesses are those areas where perhaps we're not so strong, and that if strengthened would make a big difference. In our case, external opportunities are those factors that do not depend totally on us, but that we could use to our advantage to increase our chances of success. The opposite of opportunities are threats, factors that do not depend on us, but that we may be able to mitigate or ameliorate so the impact on our chances of success is lessened. A good strategy will therefore seek to maximize the favorable factors, strengths and opportunities, and mitigate the negative ones, weaknesses and threats. In order to conduct a meaningful SWOT analysis, coaches need to create relevant questions for their children's teams and clubs under each of these headings. Let's have a look at some examples of the questions we can ask ourselves. For example, for the strengths, we could ask, what are we good at as a team or as a club? What are our coaches good at? What are our children and their families good at? What do we do better than others? Or what is unique about us? For the weaknesses, key questions could be, what could be better as a team or as a club? What could our coaches get better at? What could our children and parents do better? In which areas or skills are we lacking? In terms of opportunities, it may be worth asking these questions. Are there any elements of the context around the team or the club which play or could play to our advantage, and how? Has anything happened recently around the team or the club that can be used for our benefit? And finally, for threats, the opposite questions we could ask. Are there any elements of the context around the team or the club which play or could play against us, and how? Has anything happened recently around the team or the club that can be detrimental to our objectives? Where possible, the answers to these questions need to be informed by reliable data, so we know that we are working on facts rather than just hunches. Once the SWOT analysis has been completed, the results can be used to inform the development of the overall strategy. For instance, mapping strengths to opportunities can be very useful. Once we get to this point, where we have conducted a pretty robust analysis of what we're trying to achieve and what we need to do to achieve it, it is important that you understand that it would be wise to revisit your vision and objectives in case the current ones seem to be unrealistic given what you have discovered during the analysis. Now, a bit of a disclaimer. For some of you, it may seem that all of this is way too much trouble in your current role. Maybe as a parent and coach that coaches 1 hour a week and then a game at the weekends. And you may well be right. Still, some of these ideas may help you make more sense of your current situation and how to improve it. And who knows, your engagement and responsibilities may grow as your child moves up to the age group. And all of this may come in handy in the future. I just want to finish by emphasizing again that how we go about developing a strategy depends a lot on the context. For example, if you coach 1 hour a week for a group of 7-year-olds, your strategy might be very simple and your long-term goals may be only 6 months away. However, if you coach in a gymnastics club and your 10-year-olds are doing 20+ hours a week and competing regularly, your strategy may be a bit more long-term and have more moving pieces. In the end, developing a strategy is about making sure that you are clear about what you want to achieve and how you're going to go about it. The more complex or further in time the goals are, probably the more complex the strategy may need to be, but it is up to you to decide. Now, it is time for you to have a go at developing your strategy in the next activity. Please use the template provided or make your own. Good luck creating your strategy. See ya!